think that one of the other big misconceptions is that if I lift heavy weight, that's going to make me look more bulky and muscular. No, it's just not. So what we also know that science tells us is the more muscle mass that you have, the higher your metabolic burn rate is. So that
Mhm.
means that for you at a 130-pound woman that has 15 or 20% body fat versus the 150-pound woman with 35% body fat, she's going to have a higher metabolic burn rate than the person who weighs more, which means for her to stay the same weight, she has to consume more food
Yeah.
than the person who actually weighs more but has less muscle mass. So let's make sure you heard that right, ladies.
So yeah, so wait. So I think what kind of messes with me all the time is like you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about someone who has a high metabolic burn rate.
Mm-hmm.
They, in order for them to stay the same size, they have to eat more. But does that mean if they don't eat more, that they're going to lose the weight faster because their metabolic rate is so
So
high?
you asked like five questions in one.
I
So
know, I
that's
know.
five questions in one. So let's try to make it easy.
Okay,
So let's use round numbers to make it easy. Let's use 100 pounds just because the math is easy that way. So let's say somebody weighs 100 pounds.
okay.
And for them to maintain their 100-pound body weight,
Mm-hmm.
right, it's going to require them to eat 2,000 calories a day
Okay,
because they run, they lift weights, they have active lifestyle. So for them to stay 100 pounds, they got to eat 2,000 calories a day
okay.
because their body is using it. So it's kind of like a log in a fireplace. You want to keep the fire roaring, you got to have it on a big log.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you reduce the amount of log that you have, it's still going to burn at the same pace,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's going to start smoldering, and it's not going to be that much left a
Right,
lot faster. So the
right.
same type of thing happens to your body. If there is no free fat or any tissue that the body can absorb, it's going to then start slowing down on purpose. That makes you more lethargic. That's why people, when they do bodybuilding shows, as they reduce the amount of calories they take, they get more tired because they haven't had as much food to eat.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to know that type of information before you get started on your process. So that person requires 2,000 calories. If you cut her down to 1,500, she's going to be tired, but she'll be able to push through. Reach down to 1,200 calories a day. Now she's dying, right? She's really tired. She's really exhausted, but her workouts aren't going to be effective because she doesn't have as much stored energy to go. Now
So a
let's
woman that's obese
yes,
who, let's say she has a low metabolic rate, right?
yep. So let's
Usually
take the
they,
let's take the person that weighs 200 pounds versus the person that weighs
okay,
100,
you're right.
right? That person, her caloric need may be 1,600 calories a day because she don't do anything,
Okay.
right? Your
Mm-hmm.
heart still requires function, your brain still requires function, all that kind of stuff. But you're not moving around that much anyway. You're not using that much energy anyway. So 1,600 calories is all you need.
So
And if
then
you
why
eat
is she
less,
gaining weight?
why she? Because her body is super slow.
Her
So meaning
metabolism is super
her
slow.
metabolism exactly just super slow because she doesn't do anything. Right
Okay.
now, here's what's really interesting. That same 200-pound person, if
Mm-hmm.
you add a little bit more than their basal metabolic rate initially
Mm-hmm.
and get them moving actively, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to help them lose weight faster, even though they're eating more. But by introducing the exercise, it's going to make their body try to source all the stored energy around the body and use the new food that they're eating. So for the
So it's
first
not
two or
going to
three
make them
weeks,
gain more weight.
right, it'll
Mm.
make them stagnant for maybe 7 days, 6 days, and then we'll tweak back the food, maybe 100 calories, and then boom, weight loss happens. Right? And that's the drastic change that a lot of people see when they first start their journey. And then it's the matter of how to accommodate for your metabolic waves that you have. So that's why it's important that you, in my opinion, that you eat 3 to 4, even 5 meals a day, spreading out those calories by 3 hours a piece. That way, you can make your metabolism